Hi, my name is Chloe, and this is AVR to Moonflower Moments. This is part two of the first five, last five tarot hashtag. The first video I did was going to be featuring oracle cards, and this video is exclusively tarot decks. I have not done a video response before. Um, as I shared, if you've seen the Oracle video, this is my first time doing a video reply, doing a hashtag for the online tarot community, and I definitely consume some of this content. Like I love to watch tarot videos, I'm doing dishes and stuff like that. Um, but I've been, yeah, very shy about sharing my own collection and yeah, just like reflections on my own practice and like why I choose the decks that I do, why I work with the decks that I do. It's like it's also vulnerable, but yeah, when I saw this tag, I definitely thought, yes, Moonflower Moments. I have something to share for this. The reason why I think that it's like such a cool tag is because your first five decks, the first decks that you bring into your collection, um, that's never going to change. And it was like a very special time of my life, and I'm sure that many of you will do relate to that. What you were going through when you started reading cards, when you started learning about tarot. For me, it was, yeah, it was definitely an extraordinary time. Um, there was a lot happening astrologically that could definitely explain those, yeah, those interests bubbling up, becoming undeniable, um, certain abilities coming online, and just having that need, that insatiability, that calling that wanted to be answered. And then you start looking at decks, and there's a lot to choose from. Um, People will say, like, get something traditional, you need to learn the symbolism. That is the most important thing. People will say, just get something that you like the artwork, just get something that resonates aesthetically, because then you will be, more inclined to work with it, to use it, right? So throughout this video, I am going to share more about my journey with tarot and, how I got started going through the first five decks, the ones that I still have anyway, that I haven't culled from my collection. Um, but then you have this like the last five decks, like what were the five most recent decks. And if you are a collector, or if you ever acquire any new decks, if you are moving decks in, moving decks out, that's something that's like um, always subject to change. So yeah, I was really drawn to film this VR because my first decks won't change, but my last decks are like always evolving. And this moment in time when I've been caught, like what are the last decks that I got? Are they as intentional as the first decks, right? So I think it's just, yeah, just such a special tag, and I'm so grateful to Moonflower Moments for, yeah, creating the first video that got this whole thing going. So because I am shy and nervous about engaging this in this type of content, I did do the Oracle video first. I'm like, I'm gonna practice. I'm gonna do the five first Oracle decks because I don't have the same kind of connection with Oracle cards as I do with tarot. For me, tarot is just a system that I resonate more strongly with. I definitely have Oracle cards. I use Oracle cards. I think they are amazing. But I love more the balance contained within the tarot system, how you have um, that balance between shadow and light, that more difficult aspects can be addressed in less of a like love and light washing um, response that sometimes comes with oracle cards. Just believe in yourself. Just believe in yourself. And when you're going through something challenging and you pull one of the like challenging tarot cards, then it's like very affirming, and you feel seen and comforted because the deck is keeping it real. Like whoever you're connecting in with, spirit, the universe, your higher self, some psychological aspect of yourself that is interpreting things, the unconscious, whoever it is that you believe that you're communicating with. Um, when those shadow aspects, those balanced aspects of ourselves are welcome to be engaged with, it is just a much more fulfilling experience. Reading cards is a much more fulfilling experience in that way. So I did the practice video, the top five, or sorry, first five Oracle decks, and now this is the real video, part two. If you're still watching, amazing. Um, I'm thinking I'm gonna show my favorite card or show my favorite cards from the deck as well, just to, have it be a little bit more interesting. Um, yeah, so when I got into tarot, I definitely answered a call. Like I was compelled. Um, I didn't have, I had an awareness of it, but I didn't it was an interest that I had suppressed. Like I was too busy at work, we could say, too busy with life. And I felt this reverence that like I had to learn the system. I wasn't just gonna like start fucking around and like reading people or whatever. Like I knew that this was like a serious, serious thing, a serious system that I would need to dedicate myself to and actually like study and practice and learn all the meanings. I knew it was really serious. So when I decided to, finally answer that call, I think I ordered my first tarot deck, my first oracle deck. I think I ordered them online. And when they arrived, I spent like 3 months studying the meanings, and looking at the cards. And like I had them in order and I would like study and I would look at them and I would read and I wouldn't like shuffle them or flip through them or like pull any cards at all. I was just like in study mode. There were books I was reading at the time that I can see definitely influenced the decks that I chose. I've already shared that like I did a lot of research. I didn't want to be fucking around just like buying a lot of decks. I could already see there was a lot of like, crap out there or like things for like varied tastes and quality and whatever. So you can pretty much get whatever you want. And the consensus was like there is no, right or wrong, but like I said, if you get something with the traditional symbols, you'll be able to use any deck once you learn the system, as opposed to things that are a bit more, like artistic systems that author has created or that artist and author have collaborated on just for that deck that can't be transferred to other decks. And I did go with something with traditional symbolism. And I am really pleased that I did because it's true. You can use any book that describes the symbols. You see them in your card, and that helps you to really, imprint that system. And then you could always expand out to different styles of decks after that. I wasn't super drawn to the Marseille decks, that color palette, that style necessarily, the Smith Rider weight as well. from, what I had read about Pamela Coleman Smith, I definitely respected her as an artist, but yeah, just the primary colors and just a lot of the yeah, like Christianized imagery and stuff. That wasn't something that that resonated, but I'm like, but I want the traditional, right? So the deck that I ended up ordering first was the Modern Witch Tarot. This is my first deck. So I'm gonna show you, yeah, show you my favorite card from the deck. So the Modern Witch Tarot was created by Lisa Sturley, and she is the author and the illustrator. She started the deck, the first card she drew, published it online to it was widely acclaimed, was this famous Ten of Swords. I'm sure you've seen it. And she had titled it Everything is Fine. The Everything is Fine card. There is an extra card in the deck with that text on it, but I think I have it like as a bookmark somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where it is. Um, I immediately imprinted like the astrological correspondences to the card because I was already um, using astrology when I started learning tarot. So part of my steady practice was learning which cards were associated with which planet, which sign, which deacon, because I had that awareness already of certain traits of signs and planets. Um, so when I learned, that the strength card was Leo, like that's, you know, part of how part of how I read. Like I've never had to study that. Like I understand the order that they've assigned, and I can see the different planets and the different signs within each card. After I learned the meanings, that's not something I ever had to study again. So my favorite card from the deck is my sun sign, Aquarius, which is the star card. I love this version of the star card because it reminds me of me. I'm a Leo rising, so I love that. And when I finally pulled a card for myself after 3 months, that was the card that I pulled. Um, was the star card, and I think that happened with at least the first three decks that I had. I studied them, and then the first card I would pull out would be the star card. Um, this was the card that I would pull the most. This is the card that I would pull in my first year of reading again and again and again and again. This was like that reoccurring card for me was the Eight of Swords. No one is holding you back but yourself and your mindset, right? Yes. So my favorite cards from the deck as well. Love the Three of Pentacles. Love this version of like the collaboration um, between the higher self, um, your mundane self, spirit. Just love how all that is portrayed. Like it's so clear. You have like every aspect of yourself, your mentor, the creative self, and this, yeah, co-creation and collaboration. All the threes in this deck are great. I love the Three of Cups. This really reminds me of like the era between my Saturn return and my nodal return. I was definitely like I wouldn't say that I went to like a lot of festivals, but definitely those were, yeah, medicinal, transformational experiences for me. So, yeah, I definitely resonate with my birthday card, the Six of Swords, the Psychopomp, taking souls between worlds. I started developing my mediumship abilities after I started studying tarot. So it was very interesting how this yeah, how this has played out for me being my birthday card, and even like my past careers, how that can be reflected in more mundane meanings of this card as well. It's just hilarious. I love it. This is the card for my rising sign. Yeah, and a few other favorites. Love the Queen of Cups in this deck. Love love the Temperance card in this deck. So this was the first deck that came into my collection. I've worked with it a ton. Like even this year, I would say if I do a most used decks in 2024, like it's definitely still up there for sure. I wouldn't say it's my most used deck, but it's definitely up there. And I love to use it for reading when I read for other people. Reading for friends, reading for family, reading for clients, psychic fairs and markets. I always bring this one. It's typically pretty well received. There are more diverse decks now. I mean, at the time, it was like, yeah, it's the most diverse deck ever, or whatever. And I would definitely say, like, yes, it's racially diverse, but yeah, there's not necessarily as much maturity as there could be, especially in the court cards, but I'd say that's like universally problematic. If you want decks with older people, it's very, very niche, which is weird because with the court cards, especially, you have like that maturity that should be reflected, or like the world card being Saturn, and Saturn being like a wise elder or crone or father time or something. Like it's just, I don't know, but this is just the society we live in, right? So at this point, there are more diverse decks. I wouldn't say like this deck is necessarily like in bad taste or like has fallen out of favor. But you can get more diverse decks nowadays. I really like though that it was a feminine deck. I wasn't able to get behind like kings being at the top of the hierarchy, the masculine energy being at the top. Like that just doesn't resonate with my own personal belief system, with what I know to be true. So I knew that I needed to get like an all lady deck at least to start. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to buy into the system. Okay, got to have some water. And I mean that has changed. Um, but just looking at the first few decks, it's yeah, there's definitely more feminine representation than there is the balance of feminine and masculine for sure. Okay. So the second deck that I acquired is the Barbara Walker Tarot. This one's tarot in a tin. I'm not sure if there's a larger version or not. Um, It says Barbara Walker Tarot reflects a unique feminist perspective of tarot with religious and pagan symbols from around the world. The court cards will depict mythological gods and goddesses. So I love tins for tarot, and how they protect the deck. I think like even full size, especially full size tarot cards should come in a tin. I think it's just the most brilliant packaging. It's my favorite. For obvious reasons. I don't need to get into it. It protects it. So this is the size and the shape. Um, it is the right shape. It's just, yeah, it's going to be a little bit shorter and narrower than a typical tarot card. Um, I'll show you my favorite cards from this deck, Barbara Walker Tarot. And I should say, like, I love the backs. Love the backs of this one. Um, The only thing I don't like about it is like you have like the certain deities that are named. So like here, Princess of Pentacles, we have Nimu. Erda is like Queen of Pentacles. So the book is just this little like little tiny thing. Um, So I think like a whole textbook would have been, yeah, just so wonderful to have to learn like the stories about the gods and goddesses that are featured. And it is a feminist deck, but I would say there's definitely, yeah, equal representation for masculine and feminine figures. The minor cards all have a key word. So the majors and the quartz have a deity name. There's like a god or goddess from different mythological traditions. But then on the minor cards, you have a keyword, which I think is great. Some people have trimmed the borders, left the keyword at the top, or trimmed them all together to have it like, symmetrical and balanced on the back. But they're already so small. I don't think I'm ever going to do that. So I have worked with this deck quite a bit. It's pretty esoteric. Yeah, we have Three of Wands as fate. And I've only used it to read for myself. I haven't used it to read for others. Like some of the cards can be pretty intense. So the Princess of Wands is my favorite. This one's my favorite card in the deck. Love this one. So that's the Barbara Walker tarot in a tin. Haven't ever seen anywhere a full size version, so I think this might be it. Or it could just be that it's out of print. Like the date on this is 2017. Um, it's from 1986. It does have like definitely like an 80s vibe to it. The next deck I regifted to a friend. It was the Mystic Fairies. Was that a Barbara Walker as well? I don't know. I'll put it in the notes for you. I remember it was US Games. I love the card stock, the shape and size. The artwork was beautiful. Um, but I wasn't able to read with it intuitively. It just didn't land for me. And I have a friend who I thought it would resonate with, and it did. So there you go. So that's already been rehomed. Um, I do have, let's see here. So that's one, two, three, four, and five. Okay. So yeah, then I have my honorable mention. You may have seen this in the Oracle video because it's a tarot and an Oracle. So I've included it as a special mention in both videos. It's the Land Back Tarot, an Oracle of Colonization. This one is by Auntie Kay's Tarot, also known as Krista. Krista Flute is the creator's name. So this one was a Kickstarter. It is a tuck box. It's like this cardboard, so it's like completely sustainable. I think they wanted to have it, printed locally. So that's why they went with that kind of box. And the guidebook is amazing. I've read it. I've read it multiple times because the deck is so thick. I'd say that's probably why I didn't end up working with it um, as much as I thought. But like, yeah, the cardstock is lovely. It has the bark as the back of the cards, and I'll show you a couple favorite cards from the Land Back Tarot and Oracle of Colonization. So yeah, this deck is rather intense. It comes from the author's own lived experience. There's people that um, that she knows are featured in the deck and their stories, and then um, issues that are like that are widely known, that are publicly known. So in the Oracle, oh, and I wanted to say it is the same author and artist. The author and artist is the same person, which makes the vision completely cohesive, which I love. So like in the Oracle, you have cards that are like righteous rage. Um, we have appeasing. There is like a privilege card. There's a card for spirit, a card for triggered, a card for entitlement. So, yeah, with this kind of piece of art, I like it's not like my favorite cards, like, in the typical sense. It's just like these are the cards maybe that have been like most impactful for me or most most powerful. This one's the Tower. Have the Uncle of Weapons, Two of Weapons, Five of Arrows. The luminaries, like if anything's like has a different title, I love it. The luminaries, so you have grandfather sun, grandmother moon. The justice card is um MMIP. For the hanged one, you have dead time, an incarcerated person. Strength features someone at a demonstration, taking their power back. Number five is charlatan, which is great for like the card that's like tradition. Number nine has been renamed the storyteller. I'm not sure if this one is still in print, but I will definitely yeah, link the creator in the notes here for us. Yeah, so that is the Land Back Tarot and Oracle of Colonization. So the next deck I got is this round one. Um, this one is I don't know, I think from the 70s. It's the Mother Piece Tarot. And I I purchased it for myself and then I was gifted it later. So I think this was the gifted version. So reading the book was really powerful for me. I definitely woke up to a lot of, yeah, it was definitely an intense part of my spiritual awakening, I should say. And I don't think it was just this deck alone. Um, yeah, astrological things that were happening, my nodal return, my Jupiter return, Pluto being in a conjunction with my Mercury, bringing like psychic abilities online, enhanced intuition with Jupiter being, in a conjunction with my natal Neptune and Jupiter conjunction. It was just, yeah, a truly magnificent time of awakening. But I can't say it was just this deck, but like I was reading this book at the time. And yeah, the genre is feminist spirituality. So I don't know, at some point I should do a video of like my most influential books, but like, yeah, my goodness, this is such an important book. It was published during Saturn in Pisces. It is now Saturn in Pisces. So the themes are definitely like have come back around. You know, we're in the spiral. It's again, it's as important as ever. So until I read this book, like I was definitely aware of feminism, identifying as a feminist, um, being an angry feminist online, arguing on Twitter, like that type of thing for sure. I was aware of spirituality, but I didn't actually identify as a spiritual person. I was um, definitely agnostic, which had evolved from being atheist. I didn't think about it too much. But after I like found out what agnostic was, like that people can't hold the capability of like we're not advanced enough to understand what God is. I was like, yeah, no, that feels more true to me, more like what I believe, not atheist. But I just didn't, yeah, I didn't have the language. But earth-based spirituality has always been, true for me. I just thought of it as ecology. Um, but now I have more language and I can say like yeah, ecology is spirituality. Ecology is divine intelligence, right? Like that's exactly what ecology was or is. So I didn't know that people had these connections with the earth where it was like spiritual for them. Like it was just not a part of my awareness at all. So then I read this book, Drawing Down the Moon. And this book is by Margot Adler, and it's Drawing Down the Moon, Witches, Druids, Goddess and Goddess Worshippers. So finding out about historic practices of goddess worship and contemporary practices of goddess worship like that changed everything for me. Because I thought that religion was always patriarchal and that every religion and spirituality was patriarchal. That's why I was like, no, science, science. So these texts, along with others, definitely brought a lot to my awareness. So I can't say necessarily that, the like working with these cards had a huge impact on that part of my journey, but I read a few different guidebooks. There's like a few big books that you can buy in conjunction with this deck. And I read those, and those were like definitely blowing my mind. And I certainly like don't mind the imagery. In fact, I really like a lot of the symbols on the cards. Obviously, like a lot of it is outdated now, or, would definitely be classified, into like a cultural appropriation because they have like the different elements are associated with different cultural deities, right? But that's like what the new age is anyway, right? So like, can we blame the deck? Yes, we can, of course. Like that's you can because they didn't update it when they had the opportunity. Um, but that is also like, a valid critique for new age in general, right? So like I don't know, this has got to be one of my favorite six of cups from any deck. So yeah, it is a cool deck. But because of the shape, I wasn't able to like work with it in a practical sense. So I got a lot from this deck because of the time that I spent with it, that I was studying it. Um, but I can't say that like I've worked with it a lot in the traditional sense. So yeah, those are some of my favorite cards from the Mother Piece Tarot. And I think too, they even made it round because it's like feminine, right? It's not going to be square. It's not going to be linear. But yeah, it has its whole system where like if it's like on a certain angle, like it means this or that or whatever. So I definitely cherish this deck and I was so grateful to receive it as a gift as well. So I've got one more to go. Thank you for hanging out with me. Um, so this one I got just because I thought it was beautiful, and I was really resonating with the artist. So this is the Moonchild Tarot. Um, I think this was the second. I haven't gone through these in order. This was like the second deck I acquired or the third deck I acquired. So I ordered this directly from the creator, Danielle Noel, and I think it was this deck that made me say like I love when the creator and artist are the same person. That is like the most cohesive way to create a deck is if it's one person. I collaborated with myself. Um, what I don't like about the deck is the size. Like it is oracle sized. And it's got the rose petal finish, which is like definitely, yeah, my least favorite type of finish for a deck. However, like it is, yeah, it's along with Modern Witch my most used deck. So it is like really easy to shuffle. I know all of the cards really, really well. So yeah, aside from the shape, just the lack of maturity in the elder court cards, that would be, yeah, my only critique. um she used like a lot of like her friends and peers as models, which is amazing. I just, yeah, absolutely, I love that she's done that. But yeah, I think she was, in her 20s when she created the deck, so everyone featured is yeah, is on the younger side. So definitely makes sense for like the pages and the knights and stuff. But when you have the kings and queens are also yeah, on the juvenile side, it's just, yeah, just a different representation. But I love this deck so much. I'm a huge fan of her artwork. Yeah, worked with this deck for myself, worked with this deck for other people, used it for clients, used it at psychic fairs and markets. Definitely a fan favorite. I don't think it shows up on camera very well because it's pastel. So it doesn't have like the same rich tones as, say, the Modern Witch, but yeah, it's like collage. I think it's like digital and analog collage, if I'm not mistaken. I think she's like a mixed media artist. So yeah, here's a king. So it's a younger guy. All right. Yeah, love the Fool in this deck. I don't know. What would my favorite cards be? It's hard to say. There's so many beautiful images in the Moonchild Tarot. As soon as I said that, I saw in my mind's eye, like, oh yeah, totally. I know what my favorite cards are in this deck. Um, so I love the Moon card. So you can order this from the creator's website, and I think it's pretty reasonably priced for an indie deck. Um, yeah, her name is Danielle Noel. Maybe it's Danielle Noel, and we've been saying it wrong this whole time, but I like Frenchify it. There's the Justice card. I adore the Eight of Cups in this deck. Love the Hermit. Six of Wands, my rising sign card. So beautiful. I think yeah, her art style has gotten like very popular and rightfully so. Um, Definitely imitated quite a bit as well, I would say. And then yeah, like one of my all-time favorite. I don't know if it's my all-time favorite death card, but yeah, absolutely one of the most beautiful death cards and one of my favorite cards in this deck. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It was so fun to, yeah, spend some time with you and go down memory lane. I'm going to go ahead and share the five most recent decks. And like, don't worry, we're not like halfway through or anything. Like, these are not decks that I've worked with a lot. So there's only so much that I can say. Um, so this one I ordered through their Etsy shop. The creator goes by Hand Me My Pencil. And I showed one of their Oracle decks in the last video. So this is the Elder Stories Tarot. You just make sure I have that right. Yeah, I just want to double check that because I feel bad. I know they're and yeah, they publish their own decks. It's like, yeah, a smaller business for sure. So I don't want to be like messing around. And it's hand me that pencil. I'm sorry, I always think it's hand me my pencil. It's hand me that pencil. Hand me that pencil is the creator and Etsy shop. And her deck is called Elder Stories Tarot. So yeah, this one has beautiful, rich color. Um, it has the beautiful shape and size that I love. These are the backs. Here's the thickness of the deck. I needed something, yeah, for the phase in my life that was more elder representation, right? Clearly it's a thing. Yeah, so everyone in the deck is um yeah, more mature. I definitely recommend yeah, following her, hand me that pencil. She has some beautiful tarot decks, beautiful oracle decks. The first time I saw her shop, I bought the oracle deck, I bought the tarot deck. She has others as well. And then yeah, I bought the two expansions for the oracle as well, sight unseen. Um, So yeah, the Fool card, it says starting over is not just for the young, but it's also for the brave. So she often, like with her oracle, has, maybe some keywords or phrases in the card. Um, I mean, if you want to ignore them, you can. It's not in your face or anything, but that's like can be an interesting way to add layers for your interpretation. Yeah, love this. The Elder Stories Tarot deck. Okay. So the other recent decks I've acquired are, let's see here. Um, so this is the Pre-Raphaelite Tarot. Um, I really like a tuck box. Um, I know people complain that the deck is too nice for this box or whatever, but I don't like the huge boxes. Um, Yeah, it's just a tin would be great, or a box that's like if it's the guidebook's a little bit bigger and it's an oracle deck, but I don't know. I think that the box should fit the cards. It's just for me what I like, what's accessible. Um, yeah, of my newer decks, this is probably the one that I've worked the most with. These are the backs. So it's low scarabea, so it's standard shape and size. And this has this Yeah, pre-Raphaelite style artwork. So it's pretty traditional. Yeah, you don't have like any body diversity or racial diversity, unfortunately. Um, I was looking to pick up something by this artist. So this, yeah, definitely serves the purpose. I think I was working with it a lot in Libra season because I find it to be very, yeah, very Venusian. This is the pre-Raphaelite tarot. And yeah, the artist is Giuliano Costa. Giuliano Costa. That's the death card on the back. And it's yeah, it's Lo Scarabeo, so there isn't an author. It's yeah, just the artist, and then there's nothing. Yeah, the guidebook just has like a standard meaning. It doesn't speak to the imagery on the card or the symbolism or or anything like that. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. We have a couple more to go here. So I haven't worked with this one yet. I picked it up secondhand. This is the Mermaid Tarot by Lisa Robertson, illustrated by Julie Dillon. And these decks are like extraordinarily overpriced. Because of this stupid box that no one has room for. So I just yeah hate the Llewellyn boxes, but because I found this second hand, that made it more reasonably priced. So they have this brand does these huge books. A lot of people love them. Mostly people love them. There's not a lot of there's like you have a beautiful full page photo of the card for some reason, and then like some text. And I don't want to speak poorly of like the author or anything because I haven't read this. And like I know some people like the Tarot of Vampires is from this publisher. It's got a huge book, amazing guidebook. Um, and like generally overall, like Witch's Garden is one that I have that people love the guidebook for. So no one is complaining about these giant guidebooks. I'm like the only one who's like, you have to, scale back. Like even if they kept all the text the same and omitted the large color photo, um, because it's just, yeah, you just have to, you're just paying so much for that. And then the cards are in this like inset. It's like a shitty inset. Um, So it's like, yeah, the low Scarabeo isn't enough. The Llewellyn is way too much, but I don't know. It's this isn't about that, but like clearly that's my opinion. So I wanted something with this aesthetic for a while. And I can't tell you how it reads yet because I just got it. But yeah, like it's really cute. But yeah, there's some depth to it as well too. I did a lot of research before I picked this one up, and I'm really looking forward to yeah, reading more with it. It's The Mermaid Tarot by Lisa Robinson. And yeah, I just picked this one up secondhand. I'm probably gonna, yeah, get rid of the box and find a bag for it. Okay. And then at the same time, also secondhand, also same publisher, I've got the Green Witch Tarot. This is a classic. I've really enjoyed this year working with Tarot of the Witch's Garden. It's been one of my most used decks, and people will often compare it to this older one. I think it's from the 1990s. This is like kind of like Celtic pagan vibe as well, but different. Definitely same, but different. So same thing, giant guidebook. The cards are in set. Um, yeah, definitely way overpriced in my opinion, but I got it secondhand, so I was able to yeah, get it for like a price that I'm really happy with. So, yeah, probably gonna dig into that. Yeah, dig into that this winter. All right. And then the last one I got, the most recent one is the Aquarian Tarot. Um, this one wasn't secondhand, but I did pick it up on sale. It's interesting how they have done the packaging. Um, so it's still in a big box and it's not actually that much smaller than these huge Llewellyn ones. But I don't know. I'm just so much more okay with this. So take note, publishers. Um, so this is what I'm talking about. Like you've got, I don't know, like a small inset with the deck, which I haven't worked yet, so I'm not going to speak to it. You have a small inset for the deck, and then they've made the guidebook like nice and thick, and it's not like a teeny tiny one like we have in here. But it's not huge with full color page photos of the cards. So you still have a color of the card, but like the pages are filled with text because it's a book, right? Um, so at the end of the day, I still don't like that there's an inset. But the cards like take up most of the box. So I guess that's why I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. So I did get this one for the guidebook. It's been republished with Psychic Tarot, which is a book that uses the Aquarian. It's a tarot general guidebook, but it uses the symbolism from the Aquarian tarot within it. So it is highly acclaimed. That's why I wanted to pick it up because it's known as one of the better guidebooks. Due to the muted color palette, that's a reason I haven't, chosen to pick up this deck previously. It's probably also why I have not worked with it yet because I prefer the brighter colors, or if I'm going pastel, I like this artist's work. However, that is the last recent deck, so I would love to know, um, for people who have the Aquarian tarot, for people who work with the Aquarian, who know about the Aquarian, I, as an Aquarius, would love to know, um, what is Aquarian about it. So I've started the guidebook, haven't read the whole thing. But I would love to know your thoughts and opinions if there's anything Aquarian that you would classify as Aquarian, whatever Aquarian means to you, about this deck, because I would love to have that in my awareness. I would love to keep that in mind as I dive into studying this deck in the future. Okay, I think that's actually it. Yeah, so this was so much fun. Thank you for watching. Yeah, definitely a trip down memory lane, and then also can look at newer things that have come in, or at least new to me. Um, I do love to purchase gently used decks when I can. Um, yeah, I know some people don't like the energy of it, and that's totally fine. I definitely get it, but I also, yeah, for me, I think about like that Dion Fortune book, Psychic Self-Defense. I think it's like at least 100 years old, and she's like, it's so cheeky. She writes about like, you think that item is cursed, but it's like, not cursed by like the only thing it's cursed by is like that it was built in a sweatshop, right? Like, why would items have bad energy? It's like, is it their previous owner or is it the manufacturing and labor practices involved here, right? So yeah, if I can get a deck that is already made, it's like for me, I consider that minimizing harm because then someone doesn't have to like make that deck again. It doesn't have to be produced again. If it's already out there and I can have it, because someone else is passing it on, they didn't resonate with it or whatever. For me, like that's how I want to move. Like it just feels good for me. And I totally understand that's not the case for everyone. But yeah, if you haven't considered secondhand decks, I would definitely suggest looking into it if I'm speaking about this and that feels possible for you, because what I found with secondhand decks is they are always like new condition, or very gently used because the previous owner has not resonated with them. So therefore they are not well used. If a deck is well used, well loved, it remains in the collection. So anything that hits the secondhand marketplace is going to be like new condition. That's just something I've found. So I would recommend considering that if you haven't already. The exception would be like, yeah, these like this publisher making this awful box. Well, this one's pretty good. I would say it's no more banged up than like, if you did online shopping or whatever. That's like a little thing on the corner there. Um, this one, however, had a deeper discount. You can see it has that there. But again, that's not that different than when it's new. These boxes are not great anyways. So just a little like PSA for you there as well. Don't be afraid of secondhand decks. Could be an option as a way to yeah, limit consumption and to save money as well, which we all love. Um, Okay, amazing. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I had so much fun making this video. I wish you a happy solstice and the most peaceful, most restful, rejuvenating liminal time as we are here now. Yeah, between the years. And I will see you soon.